The only deck I think ever that was meta that runs one monster is here. What's good, you guys? True Kingston, and we're going to be talking about Eldlich. Eldlich is a deck that runs one monster, Eldlich the Golden Lord, and then it just supports itself with a ton of spells and traps, pretty much traps. You just support that one monster, which has a really good effect. The monster has the ability to summon itself, it has non-destruction removal, and recursion. Also, it can work for zombie decks too. You can run it in zombies. It's supposed to be zombie support, but it's never played like that. It can be, but usually you'll see him in his own deck by himself. What's the point? What's the point of this deck and how you play it, at least when you're trying to play it at the meta? Like, it's not meta anymore, don't get me wrong. Too many things got hit too many times. That wasn't even part of the deck fully. It was just more floodgates got hit. But that's the type of deck it is. You just run a bunch of floodgates. So basically, get Golden Lord on the field. Since you're only running one monster, the only time you're going to have two monsters on the field for the most part is if you summon another Golden Lord, or maybe a hand trap, and then try to go into like a Link 2 or something, and then bring him back, shit like that. But basically, all you do, summon him, try to get Conquistador on the field, which will pop a card and summon itself as a trap monster. Hacuero or whatever its name is, I can't pronounce this in Spanish. You summon that, and that card will banish a card your opponent's grave. So they have interruption. Guardian would just lower the attack of a monster to 0. But Eldlich is very simple. Just play a bunch of floodgates, honestly. Get skill drain on the field, because you don't really need your effect. That's not a big deal for you. You don't need your effect. So skill drain, get some, if you want to run like the other drains like Mind and all, I wouldn't recommend Mind. You probably shouldn't be running the other one. I've seen somebody run Soul Drain, it did not go well, because he turned off his Eldlich. But when it comes to it, you can run that, you can run Goes in Match, there can only be one summon limit, run a bunch of trap cards, continuous traps, there are floodgates, some spells if you want to. But pretty much you got ways to summon them. Like, it's consistent for a deck that only has one monster in it. If you don't open up with him, it's not that big of a deal. Unless they're running Red Reboot, then you auto lose. Because all you do is set you pretty much, most of the time Eldlich is gonna set 5 and pass. And you're not gonna know what the fuck they got. You're not gonna know what you're up against, because there's other decks that can do that. But once it starts, it's bad. Like, even if you Ash, there are a way to summon him from the deck. They have like 2 other cards that can summon him from the deck, so most likely he's going to be coming out on the first or second turn. If they don't have him in his hand, then he's probably going to be coming from the deck on your turn from a trap card. But yeah, you're basically just playing a game of interrupting your opponent and slowly willing them down. Well, he has high attack. He has high enough attack. I think he has 2,500 attack and goes up to 3,500 with his effect of summoning himself. But you're basically going to sit there with one big monster and interrupt your opponent when they try to do something. They try to set up a play, activate Conquistador, pop. If they try to bring something back from the graveyard or mess with their graveyard, Hacuero, banish, stop it. They try to attack over your Golden Lord, Guardian. And then when they start establishing a board, Goes in Match, there can only be one, Rivalry of Warlords, whatever. Any of those cards you need, you have access to lots of removal, and you have access to hyper consistency. They have Golden Land Forever, which is a counter trap Omni Negate. Then on top of that, you still have access to Cursed Eldland, if I remember correctly, is the card that you pay 800 to search an Eldlich trap, or a Speller trap, I think, or Eldlich card. So you have a lot of consistency between Cursed Eldland, Elixir of White Destiny, Elixir, I don't remember the other nerds. Scarlet Sanguine, I think. There's a bunch of cards that summon him from that. You have a lot of consistency to get to him, so don't worry about getting to the monster itself. It's more about the interruption side and knowing what cards to have. You definitely want your Eldlich cards, because most of them can be banished to set other ones, and those can't be ashed because they're going to be setting themselves to the field, so it's like the Labyrinth scenario. If you're setting cards to the field from your deck, you're not searching because you're not adding them to your hands, so Ash can't hit them. Also, Droll can't hit them either, so you don't have to worry about Droll as much. You may search. From what I know, you don't really search outside of Cursed Eldland. And then the last thing you can do with a deck, this part is optional, but you can run 7 Cities of the Golden Land, which overall isn't a good card really. But if you're running other monsters, you can go into Eldlich, the Mad Golden Lord, which is the fusion boss monster. It's not bad at all. You can steal your opponent's monsters, if I remember correctly. You don't really see it often, because then you have to run 7 cities, which 7 cities isn't a really good card. It's a continuous spell that doesn't do much. Overall, doesn't really do anything from the deck, but if you like the Mad Golden Lord, I don't see why not. And don't worry, his name becomes Eldlich, the Golden Lord on the field, so you don't have to worry about cards not interacting with the Golden Lord and all that. But you can, I would say, if you want, Eldlich's been hit so hard now. They've been hit, and it's not like directly towards them, but a lot of floodgates will get hit. Like there can only be one got limited, or there can be only one got limited. Skill drain got limited. Like a lot of the cards they ran, Kaiser Coliseum I think is banned right now. So with the cards that's been hit, I think Eldlich is in a bad spot. I would personally not recommend running it right now. But if you want to, you know, do you? If you want to run it, do you? I just personally do not recommend it at this moment. I don't think it's at its best, and I don't think it's ever going to come back though, personally, like to its true power. Like now it's an anti-meta strategy directly. It was at launch like a anti-meta deck that became meta because it was really early. That's the only reason I can even say they were meta. It was really early on, and people didn't know how to really deal with it. Like they went against Drytron, they just lost. But against most other decks, they could just kind of play it out, and they would be relatively fine. But when it comes to it, it's a cool deck. It's a cool deck. It's pretty different, but it's close to we're probably gonna get to like a Mystic Mind Runic deck in Mass Duel for now. But it's dead right now. Like I said, Snake Eyes is taking over, so I wouldn't be playing that deck anytime soon. If you have it and you want to play it, be cool. But if you don't have it, I wouldn't go towards building it. Not right now. It's pretty cheap, honestly. There's a lot of SRs, and Eldlich, the Golden Lord, and Matt Golden Lord's the only UR. One of them you don't really need. But that's it from me. Hope y'all enjoyed this one. I don't even know what deck's next. I'm gonna have to start looking into the history a bit, so we'll see. But that's it from me. This is Kingston, and we out. Everybody take it easy.